Hi, thanks for joining us today on Real Estate Insiders TV. I'm Danny Poulos with the Elite Lending Team at Blue Chip Lending, and our guest today is Ludwig. He's a real estate consultant and business strategist, and we're going to be talking about some real estate market trends, not the usual stuff you're used to hearing. This is some real inside information on where the market is going and why, and it's going to give you a little heads up on what's happening. So Lou, take a minute, tell people how long you've been doing what you're doing, and we'll get right into it.
Well, I've been doing the consulting work for over 25 years and business strategist. I'm known nationally as a business turnaround expert. So we spend most of our time turning businesses around. And some of the strategies we're going to talk today about with International Realty, we incorporate into businesses that we're working with nationally.
So it's things that you're aware of, so you're helping other businesses become successful because of things that they're not aware of, really, right? You're giving them the necessary information.
Yes.
So we hear a lot of people talking about the international markets and how it affects us here, but you've really got some takes on this that a lot of people I don't think of. So talk about the international market in South Florida.
Well, South Florida is vastly becoming a business mecca for South America and worldwide. More and more businesses are relocating into the South Florida market, Miami being a big part of that. So we're the gateway to South America for business. And as businesses relocate, the people are coming here to buy real estate, buy housing, and relocate here as well. So it's been a big driver to the business. And it wasn't too many years ago in Miami that there was probably about a 5 or 6 year supply of condominiums. And the condominiums have all sold, and actually they're on the upside now, and they're building condominiums because the market's been so strong there, and a big part of that market is international.
What caused the turnaround? Why did we go from all the cranes in the sky and no buyers to where we are now?
Well, initially they built too many. They overestimated what was going to be needed for the marketplace. They absorbed that, and the developers looked at the market realistically for the coming years and built to demand. And right now, it's not uncommon to be involved in a building in Miami where it's sold out before the completion of the building.
Oh my God, it sounds like 10 years ago, sort of.
Somewhat so, yeah, absolutely.
I hope it has better legs this time, and I think it does, and international market is one of the reasons why. So what brings those people here? Why South Florida? Why don't they go to New York? Why don't they go to LA?
Well, one of the things for sure is the climate. They love the climate in South Florida. But one of the biggest things that bring people to Florida internationally is shopping. Believe it or not, people don't talk about that. But we had a vacation in Rio a few years ago, and we went to the mall in downtown Rio. My wife was looking around and saw a pair of shoes she wanted, and she pointed to the shoes and asked the clerk for the size shoes she needed, which was a 7. The clerk looked at her and said, "That's the pair of shoes. There is no back room in Brazil."
So bring your size 7 foot in or go home.
Go home. So when you look at the outlet malls and the shopping centers, the busiest stores in those centers today are the luggage stores. People come in from out of the country with one overnight bag for enough to get by, and then they go shopping and fill the bags, and they spend a tremendous amount of money in the economy just in the shopping. And a good example would be Sawgrass Mills in Broward County. That is an international destination.
I heard it was the #2 destination in Florida. I mean, there's Orlando and all the theme parks, and then shopping.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine that runs tours, and they run the tours into Disney, and they do the trips to Disney World. But they also, as part of the tour, take the shoppers down into the Sawgrass, and they spend a day there as well. So yeah, absolutely.
For them, they think they're in Disneyland. It's
right.
Better than Disneyland. I know that, especially when you talk about Brazil, that safety is an issue in a lot of countries too, and that affects shopping. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, we have friends from Brazil and Costa Rica. And when you're out and about in your home country, you look like everyone else. You don't wear jewelry, you don't wear diamonds, the women don't carry purses. When they come to Florida, especially at South Beach, Boca Raton, up and down the coast, Jupiter, Florida, the people wear their jewelry, they wear their nice clothes, they carry their purses, they drive the expensive cars. There's a sense of safety in the United States, and international guests love that feature in the marketplace.
And I mean, I've known people that have lived in Brazil, and they would say if the police are coming, don't stop. I mean,
No.
it's really not a safe place to be in a lot of areas. So for here, like you say, it's like being in Disney World. Shop, wear your jewelry, flaunt it,
Right.
and feel good about yourself.
Absolutely.
And not be scared. Obviously, cost of money is another reason people would be investing here, right?
Absolutely. The cost of real estate, especially in South Florida, when you look worldwide, is very affordable. So you can buy a lot more real estate here and great locations and gated communities on the beach, condominiums, and still pay a fair price from what you would spend nationally for that same real estate. And also what the international folks are doing is they're looking for the retention of their capital. Eventually, if they had to sell, they can recover their capital.
So not as interested in a return as an American investor might be?
Not at all. It's the capital, and what drives a lot of business, especially a few years ago, when Venezuela was going through all the problems there, we sold tons and tons of Venezuelans real estate in South Florida. Their main concern was put the money into real estate. If things went bad in Venezuela, they could capitalize the property in the United States and have cash here, and that's exactly what they did.
So it wasn't really an alternative investment to what they could do with their money in Venezuela, because the risk was just off the charts.
Right.
Right?
Well, that's the safety. One of the things with real estate, and as far as pricing and consistency of real estate in the United States, in a lot of countries, you could buy real estate and you could lose it. And in the United States, you have title insurance, you have the consistency in communities, and you have the right to sell your property. You have private property rights, which is a big factor for a lot of people buying it from other countries.
So I guess a large part of the real estate business and the responsibility of realtors is also getting that information out internationally to how our markets are different than what they're used to and how we conduct business and what they can expect from their investment. So a couple other things. What about developments like the canal and now with opening up in Cuba? How's that going to affect us here?
It's going to have a big time effect. First of all, we're currently being affected by the canal being enlarged. In Miami, they're going to be bringing in the super freighters in. Most of them are going to be Chinese. Currently, Chinese are opening businesses in South Florida to service the freight that's coming in. And we can see in South Florida, especially on the East Coast, they're expanding the rail. That the rail expansion has never been for consumers to use. It's for the freight usage. So they're going to be running multiple freight trains up the East Coast every day, moving that freight out of the port of Miami.
So we're talking obviously about changes in the labor market then, with new investment for all the new freight that's going to be coming through.
Right.
So another driver, obviously, for real estate.
Right. We'll also increase the job market here, and there'll be better paying jobs. There'll be jobs in every category, but as the businesses come in, they're going to have to service that freight and distribute it and have working businesses here to service what they do.
It sounds like when you talk about the whole rest of the country, we really have an edge going on from a lot of angles as a result of international investment. So how about the Cuba thing? How's that going to affect us?
Well, that is going to have a major role in South Florida eventually, and it won't happen for a few years, but they're going to have to rebuild the infrastructure in Cuba. So one of the ports that a lot of that stuff is going to go to Cuba, the building supplies, are going to come through rail and road, get on ships, and be shipped into Cuba. So Florida, again, will play a big role in that. Also, when that happens, there'll be a drain of manpower to do the infrastructure, and that will be training Cubans to do the work, and also Americans, American companies or international companies doing work in Cuba as well. The biggest thing in Cuba is to get all the antique cars and... No, I'm just kidding. No, but Cuba's going to be a big market here. One of the things that have to happen in Cuba, and they have not talked about that, is that when Castro took over years ago, they took private property, real estate businesses, and a lot of that real estate that's in Cuba is owned by other Cubans in the United States.
Right.
So they're going to have to repatriate some of that real estate back, and nothing's been discussed about that yet. But it'll have a big driver for business in
Absolutely.
South Florida.
So what do you think looking forward, 2016, 2017, the strength of the international market, any reason it would change? Because everything we've talked about seems like it's driving that.
No, New Jersey, or not New Jersey, but Florida and the United States is considered a safe harbor. So the money is coming into the country at a rapid pace. The only thing that will adjust the market is the dollar, the strength of the dollar. The stronger the dollar becomes, the less you buy. So currently you could get discounts with your euro and your pound sterling. And in South America, the driver on the real estate market there is just the safe harbor for their money.
So if you're in the real estate business and you're not paying attention to the factors that are contributing to the demand from the international market, I mean, really, you're missing the boat. I don't know what percentage, do you have an idea what percentage of the market that is in South Florida? Or at least in Dade?
In Dade County, it's probably between 10 and 15% of all the sales are international today.
And I think everybody in our area has noticed the shift as things are just keep going north to where we're really affected by that international market demand now. So Luke, tell everybody how they can reach you for more information on this or really anything to do with real estate. I know you're a speaker, a coach, a trainer, an author. People can follow you on Active Rain.
Right.
So tell everybody how they can reach you.
You can reach me at lou@louludwig.com, which is my email address. I could be contacted or text message at 561-703-7465.
Great. Thanks so much for coming in today. It was great information.